Build a website you love with Wix, where your words create your brand, your opportunity.
Hello, all, and welcome to tonight's live stream. We're going to go ahead and do a quick tech news roundup. Basically, on Tuesdays, this is going to be used for covering any small stories that I could have seen throughout the week that involve Wix, Squarespace, WordPress, Framer, or Webflow, which I consider those to be the big five tech companies where people use them to build their websites or to have customers purchase. I always add some more on later, but considering I have five to cover and each one of them had articles that were posted today, I did want to go ahead and give them time. Maybe in the future we can look at Shopify and Etsy. But for now, these are the five. And I will send a link. I know last night I said I'm going to set the link. I might just do a full recap link that I send out every Friday to people to be able to see all the live streams together, or at least be able to come back and reference the Notion page with all the information that was covered over the week so that it's a recap and a summary. Potentially, we'll set up an emailing list. These are just all ideas that I'm tossing out there for now. But let's get started. So, the first one that we're going to cover is Wix Help Center, where you can see on the screen they're introducing the new Wix store product catalog, which I thought was going to be very interesting for those small business owners that have products like body butters, candles, or even if you're selling random machine parts that are tiny. Not just in one category as skincare, it's just that's where I came from, so that's where I typically default to. So, reviewing this article, they're saying that they have released. Hello, welcome to the stream, Cassie's Confections. We have released a new version of the pages where you create products and manage product categories so they run faster and better support growing stores. Our new tools make it easier to organize your product and streamline how you manage your store, whether you have a few dozen items or a complex inventory of 1,000, which I would say that is a win for individuals. I am wondering, can I zoom in? Because it looks kind of tiny on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and open this up in a new tab so we can take a closer look. It's not that much closer. So reviewing it, looks like they have untitled product, a category where you can actually set up the physical product, basic info, so name of the product, ribbon. I think that's probably going to use for categorization, brand, description. Okay. Set up pricing, where you can learn more, strike through pricing, cost of goods. I do like that it has a profit and margin on it. I don't know if that was in there in the past. They have images and videos, which, of course, don't forget, if you add an image or a video in here, from what we were talking about last night with ADA and website compliance, to add alt text so that people know what's being listed on your website. It looks like they have show in online store, point of sales. I feel like that's the same. I don't think that's changed. Marketing and SEO, you can create a coupon, promote a product, or hire a professional, which that's always there. They're always trying to internally hire additional Wix designers. That is a good place to find reliable people that have used Wix in the past and are currently designers for Wix Studio. Okay. And they say, let's take some looks at the new features and improvements. So they enhance their website's navigation and SEO by organizing the products into multiple levels and categories. You can create up to 5 levels of hierarchy to keep even the largest inventories neat. Manage up to 1,000 categories and subcategories in total. Make it easier for customers to find what they're looking for. So you can do drop-down categories such as clothing, women's dresses, sundresses. Allow search engines to better understand your site so they can help shoppers find your product. And that's that image here. And they say learn more about creating products. Let's look into this, see if it's helpful. Oh, that's all the way down at step 4. So showing the creation of subcategories. So you can see they have all products, men's clothing, costs, jackets. Okay. So it's kind of functioning more like a retail store than what it may have in the past compared to, or how it's currently running. Advanced management on the variant levels. Manage complex product variations faster with more control. Once you add product options, detailed like price per pre-order, availability, and shipping weights, and more are no longer managed on the product level. Instead, you set and edit them per each variant. I'll admit, as a small business owner, when I was trying to do soap sales, one of my issues indefinitely was the shipping. If they can do something to resolve that issue and make it make sense, that is fantastic and another great win for our product-based business. I will also say, when they're saying different variants, I was thinking about the people that do the different grades of product. You know, there's someone that is sitting here and they say, okay, I'm going to sell a pen that is embossed. And they have A grade, B grade, C grades. I know that normally if it's a B grade or below, they typically package them all together. I can see this being a very useful section for them to use so that they can put in the variants. And they're saying pricing setting, looking to see if there's anything. As strike through price, calculating cost of goods. Well, this is just a good article to have in the future. Displaying price per unit. Again, I see a win. Oh, and I see how the strike through price works. So it's kind of showing basically a discount. So if you say everything on your store is 10% off, I'm assuming there's automation to mark everything off as 10% off before they get to cart. But if you're having a discount as well, just because inventory has moved and this one piece has been sitting here for about a month, you're able to go ahead and say, okay, the original price was $100, and now strike through price, we're moving it down to 75 or something. Well, in this example, they said 56 to $44, which is probably a more reasonable markdown. And then you can still keep track because of the other information of your margin. That's pretty awesome. I will try to find other adjectives. I'm working on the vocabulary in 2026. Add product modifiers. This is the fourth installment from the Wix. So use modifiers to offer customizations that don't require separate inventory or pricing. Some examples of modifications include free gift wrapping, engraving, or other product embellishments. Customers choose their preferred modifiers directly on the product page. I like this, and that seems like it's trying to compete with Etsy as a platform, which means, that's interesting. It's just competing with Etsy, it sounds like. Because I know when you go on there, you're buying a custom handmade product that's not been placed on there by dropshipper, which I know a lot of small businesses and creatives are trying to basically battle for to keep their Etsy shops. This is just another option for you, so you can sit here and have your customization. Or I've also heard the complaints about on TikTok, you have TikTok shop that you're able to use. However, you can't actually list a custom item or a custom product. So both of those spaces are not there. Wix is trying to bring people in by allowing them to have this customization, which was not potentially there in the past. I honestly don't remember, to be fair. When you're doing soap making, you're not necessarily sitting there trying to customize orders by putting in a name. I will admit, for someone's baby shower, I did do custom body butters in the past, and those are custom made, but I sent an invoice, which they still will have the invoicing system on, probably maybe not WordPress, Framer, and Webflow, but definitely between Wix, Squarespace. I mean, you can use PayPal. There's several different ways to get that done. And let's see. I think this is the final piece. I do like how they have the guide bar on the left hand side, so you know where you're at in the article. I don't know if the others will have that. We're kind of doing half knowing what's happening, half going in blind. So save time using attributed banks. No need to create the same information again and again. For example, you can create a size chart once in your product info section and apply it to some of your products. Need to edit that size chart? You can do it once, apply the update everywhere. Ribbons. Manage all your ribbons like new arrival or sale in one place and apply them to groups of products at once. Info sections. Create reusable blocks for size guides or care instruction and link them to multiple products. Reusable product options and modifiers. Once your product Once you create a product option like fabric type or a modifier like gift wrap, it's it is saved and can be added to other products. Okay. And they've had a gift going this whole entire time where you see you can check care instructions, size guides, and I know how much of an annoyance this can be. Especially I could see someone, because in my spare time I do crochet. And of course when you're crocheting items, each of these, actually I still have some on my desk. And I will see. I don't have a zoomed in version of this camera. I will try that later. But let's see here. So I'm looking at my label. Yarn Inspiration, there's Burnett. telling me how to do this. Okay, and maybe I'll zoom in on this at a different time. But there are on here for the yarn. Oh, it's not going to show because there's too much light. Can I get it? Nope, I can't. However, I can take a picture and post this in the Notion page so that you can see it. But there's instructions on how you have to wash the yarn itself. So it's probably saying cold water, no iron, stuff like that. And I could see, I don't know if on, this is really making me want to look into Etsy a little bit more. I am not a current Etsy designer just because I look at how many fees they're taking away from the creatives, and I know that it's good for SEO purposes. I'm not going to act like it is not good for SEO purposes. However, when you're barely making a dime from what you put on there, it's kind of hard for me to sit here and say, yes, as a creative, I would suggest going XYZ or going to here. So that's why you don't hear me speaking very much about them outside of what I said, where Wix is trying to potentially be their competitor. And then, of course, they have learn more about the new product catalog, where you can go in here and they say if you have questions, you can ask the community, which I believe this routes just to their community page forum. And I know in some of the Reddit stories that I've read in the past, people say, I don't know how to find someone to make my website. Okay, I'm glad that didn't happen that way. Um, how do I disable this? We're going to take a brief pause here. I apologize for that commercial break, but I just do not want that to happen again. That was very terrifying. I'm happy that nothing was actually displayed. So we're not going to have to worry about that in the future. I will say in the Wix community forum, this is available so that you can ask the community, try to find designers, ask people that have the experience. I mean, you can see on here as well, Wix editor pop-up automation throws error after subscribe button clicked. This person has one view, and you see how often people are viewing this information and when they actually get their reply. So this person asked this question about Wix Harmony feedback. That was 5 hours ago. They've had 6 views and they got 1 response. So you constantly will be able to see someone there for support. Oh, wow. There's one apparently introducing Wix Harmony, what it means for you, and there's 10 views. I probably will click on that and review that later. However, We are now 18 minutes into the live stream, so we're going to go ahead and move over to Squarespace. Who hasn't heard of a sponsor for this website? I feel like I definitely hear it on Evan and Caitlin, who are some YouTubers I watch, and a couple other platforms as well. So, this is Squarespace's webinar section, where you can basically explore more insights and walk through and learn on your own time. They have sections that include building a website, selling on there, growing your audience, and scheduling with Acuity, which I'll have to look into. Let's see what their latest news is in regards to I don't know if I want any of these. Browse by topic, FAQs, forums, just like Squarespace, build your website. Okay, we're going to go to, actually, I think I do remember where it was, but it was further down, not growing your audience. Well, you know what I said, I don't know what Acuity is, so let's go ahead and see what it is. It looks like it's a simple scheduling platform. Is this actually going to open up to a video? I don't know. Are we going to open? Nah, it's not opening. Let's see if there's a blog instead. We'll go to their forums. What forum? They have welcome to here, custom code, commerce, page content, resources. Oh, wow. And you can see how many people are on here that are users. I don't know how long this is up for. Oh, that's from 2019. That explains it. Latest. I disabled the slide. And they even have popular contributors to their design community. They have a section where you can hire a designer and everything else. So you want someone that specializes in Squarespace, or you just need simple assistance to figure out, hey, how do I get something done? You can come here to forums.squarespace.com for additional support. You can reach out to someone like myself that is a web strategist or designer as well to help, but you're not on your own. And we'll go ahead and move over to WordPress because it's currently 21 minutes into the stream. So WordPress has a blog, basically. Makes sense. And they're talking about Studio 1.7.0. Meet the new Studio CLI. And this was just published today. So version 1.7.0 of WordPress Studio is a major upgrade for anyone building on WordPress sites locally, especially developers and power users who like to automate tasks and work from the terminal. In earlier releases, the Studio CLI focuses mainly on creating and managing preview sites. Let's look and see what a preview site is. This is the news we're supposed to be exploring. So let's see. To create a preview site, select the local site from the studio, preview the tab, log into WordPress.com if you haven't already, and then you create a view. And this must be it on Mac because I see the 3 circles. And then you can delete preview sites. With 2 versions, it becomes a full-featured command line companion for much of your studio workflow, including creating and managing local sites, running WordPress CLI in the right context, connecting to WordPress.com, and more. In this post, they're going to review what's new and share practical ways to incorporate Studio CLI into AI assisted workflows. I love how they're saying try it now. So let's go into what CLI is. CLI, or Command Line Interface, lets you control the tool and application by typing commands into the terminal instead of clicking on menus. Developers tend to like CLI because they're fast, repeatable, automatable, even though even if you don't typically work on a terminal, the Studio CLI is still worth paying attention to. It's the common language automation tools can use to interact with the studio. Once it's enabled, your editor, script, or AI coding assistant can do things like create a new site, run database upgrades, and publish a preview without you having to navigate through multiple screens in Studio applications. So, to get started with CLI, you'll open your WordPress Studio application on your machine. So, this is giving more instructions on how to get to it. And you'll see how you can write the code, post on local sites. This is more advanced, but I will say WordPress is known for being a good alternative to Wix and Squarespace, and it's been around for a long time. I feel like, especially where I live, a lot of people will default as designers to using WordPress to run their site, because designers and developers, because it's been through different tests and tribulations over the years. And I'm going to go ahead and move on to Framer. You can contact me at either of those emails. They are also still valid. But I wanted to definitely make sure that we made it to the Framer so we can talk about the 15... No, that's not what I wanted. I did not want the best healthcare website examples. I thought that they had something about the HIPAA stuff on their website. I must have gotten it mixed up. However, Framer is another website that is up and coming. I've seen a lot of designers using this as their portfolio in order to try to market and get people in, as well as I've seen agencies using this as well for people to have their websites built on. It's not as simple as Wix and Squarespace, where it's plug and go or plug and play. You do have to have a little bit more technical knowledge if you were someone that wanted to have your website designed in Framer. However, we can go through and look at the different websites that they think are the outstanding ones for healthcare, and maybe it's a website that you've been on in the past. So James Patson is the author of this article. These are the 15 different exceptional healthcare websites, each from the Forbes Gallery. So that's good to know. Featuring best-in-class real-life healthcare sites, or from Framer's Marketplace, where dozens of healthcare providers, specific templates can help you solve the riddle of designing a safe, trustworthy, and patient-centric online experience. The first one that they have is Curely by Diversikit, who is the agency. Let's go ahead and click on here and review their website. So this is their template. It's already plug and play, ready to go, and you just need to customize it for your own website viewing. I'm going to go ahead and click on preview. So you just need a basic layout that tells people about your services, who you are, and contact information. It appears you can also book an appointment. This template is about $49. But as you can see, I do like that as you scroll down the page, it does appear and pop into view. Choose Curely, Expert. I am wondering, does it come with a built-in accessibility statement? And how does this work when you're trying to tab through a website? I'm just thinking about people who have to use the website in a different way. So links, they have home about, they have a 404 error, they have a blog. Interesting that they don't have anything on here about accessibility. They do have terms and conditions, a policy, and maybe there's something else that's hiding back here and I just can't see it because the framer sticker is in the way. Not 1,000% sure. I'm just wondering if there is an accessibility statement that's hiding. Look in terms and conditions. They do already have a lot of this terminology pre-set up. And then the book of appointments experience is here. And I think that this works across different platforms because if you give a service of any kind, it should have all these details on it. So maybe you're not doing this. Maybe you're a food truck and you're trying to have people book your truck out. You could use this as well. It's maximized for healthcare. Let me see. I'm going to just tab through. That's where literally you take the keyboard and you just tab to see what all it catches. So it has book an appointment, learn more, sends me. It doesn't have me click on this, so that's apparently not actually clickable. They have the different sections where it can be moved. Dr. Ava. You view through all of this information. I am a little concerned with how quickly it just jumps to stuff. Can I open this? If I press enter, yes, I can. Oh, that one was invisible. And I do see where it has me in the email box. Currently, it has me. So that must be a call option. And I can mail to this email. All these other links allows me to go through. This is a way for me to see if. Okay, so no, there is no accessibility statement that's hiding, or else it would have tabbed to it. But that was a good example to look through. And hey, Jen, thank you for joining the stream, and thank you for all the likes. Oh gosh, you're going for it. Oh, you know what? I just realized my chat dock is turned off for that. So I would have not seen any of the YouTube chats. Oops. And let's see, I had one more website provider that I wanted to go through, but I am looking at the time and it is currently 9:30. So I'm trying to keep all of these down to 30 minutes at most. We're going to go ahead and end the stream. I do want to thank you all for tuning in for more tech news about the different platforms. Yes, I am on the East Coast. So I am on EST time, and I'm just basically trying to inform people about more on the tech news and what is happening on these different platforms. I know we popularly see Wix as well as Squarespace. So hopefully this keeps you a little bit more informed. Make sure that you know what type of designer you're hiring and developer. That way you have the information and you're not just going in cold, not knowing very much about what's happening in the background on your website. But for now, we'll go ahead and bid adieu. I hope everyone has a great night. Bye.